Ascension.
Unclench your jaw and relax your tongue. Just empty your lungs of any negativity that might be sitting there. And then just breathe in positivity, light breath. And as you breathe out, just imagine all the negativity, every negative thought just leaving your body. And then just breathe in again, light, positive air. And out negativity. And then one more time, just breathe in light positivity. And out negativity. Hello, welcome to Fluid Ascension. My name is Drew, and the only acceptance you need is from yourself. With me today is the amazing Tajana.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here. Been waiting for this one, for real.
Now, Tajana's a very, very special human. She is a triple Pisces.
Yes, I am. And you are?
A triple Libra.
Triple Libra.
We've got some air and water. Just dive in and listen to us, really, because when I met you, actually, you were like, yeah, I'm a triple Pisces, and I'd never met someone that had the same moon rising and ascending sign before.
Yeah. I know. I felt really special. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You're my twin. And ever since, we've been tied to the hip, babe.
The divine reflection of each other. And I think the more our friendship's grown, the more kind of like aligned we've realized that we are with certain aspects, which is really special.
Yes, 100% gratitude.
Yeah, like the divine reflection that we have with each other is really interesting, because I was listening to you speak about your issues of identity based on your sexuality, which are very similar to my own. So trying to sort of navigate the world from a sexually fluid perspective, and just how that affects the relationship that you have with yourself and the relationship that you have with your family and your relationships.
Yes. Yeah, so I think sexuality is really important to me. I never realized how important it was until I learned from my past situations, such as being sexually abused, which is something we both have in common.
Snap.
So when you go through that situation, I think a lot of things happen between your relationships with yourself, with your family, obviously with your sexuality as well. And through my journey throughout this, I've just come to grips with my identity and how it all stems from my sexuality and my experiences, you know. So yeah, self-image and who I am and what I stand for are questions that are really important to me today. And I think that's what people should be diving into themselves to in this current time.
And this is really what I want to kind of like hit home with listeners and it's something that I realized, and it took me a very long time to realize, but your sexuality is your greatest gift and it's your greatest power. So every day I see people misusing their sexual power or not really acknowledging it. And I think in different forms, you know, a straight guy's perspective of, oh, I've got to shag birds in a club, I'm just going to sleep with loads of birds, like that kind of toxic university, like lad culture. And then obviously, you know, women told that you being slut shamed and you can't sleep with too many boys because boys won't want you. So it's such a high level of conditioning.
Psychology.
Yeah, and it's just conditioning that we've had to kind of like keep our sexuality really contained. I feel like for me, like, for example, I was called gay before I even knew what the word gay meant. So I always had people, like my sexuality was always a topic of conversation, and it was something that made me feel really uncomfortable because people would assume that I was gay, or they'd put me in a box, or they'd treat me differently because of that. And really, I just wasn't able to be socialized. I mean, it's low-key a blessing because I'm not saying I would have wanted to be socialized so much in like laddie groups of boys in Essex growing up,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
it did really affect me until I was able to really own my sexuality and actually accept it myself, as opposed to looking to other people to give me that acceptance. And I
Mm.
think when you accept it and you realize how powerful sexuality is, realize that whoever you're sleeping with, your chakras are aligning with that person and it's an energy transfer. I think that's
Yes.
like big, big game changer for me.
Yes.
And I think we can look back now and kind of look at our journeys and sort of really see how, and I do get like a sexual energy from you. Like I know that that is a big part of you. And I think we can
Mm.
see how different people have potentially used that against us.
Yeah, 100%. It all comes down to life force, basically, because sexuality is life force. So we're all given this birthright existence to be here, to express ourselves, to be creative, to be sexual. And what we've got to understand is like someone's the giver and someone's the receiver. But on both of those ends, the energy has to be mutual. It has to be respected. It has to be, you have to be connected to each other on a level which is always spiritual, actually, when it is non-toxic, because only toxic energy and sexual energy can start destroying your self-image, start destroying um the natural source of life. And going back to situations like before my sexual abuse, I was always attracted to girls. Always have been, always will. I think my sexuality has always been fluid. And that situation that occurred with a man suppressed my sexuality and changed my whole world. Like, I had no one to reach out to. I was confused. The relationships in my household between family members um, just turn very cold. We didn't know how to communicate about it. So I
Yeah.
was pretty much left in the dark.
Mm.
And when you're growing up as a teenager and your friends are having sex and going out on dates and doing naughty things, it's like you either join that group unconsciously, not knowing what you want, or you decide to go inwards and just use the information online to, or hide your sexuality. It can
Yeah.
literally go either way. It's all about just going out there and exploring.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, so when you first started speaking about this, it called kind of the vision in my head came to me of like when past civilizations like ancient Egypt, Atlantis, like ancient kind of Greek civilizations about like the gods coming into earth, into human bodies so they can
Mm.
experience 3D, so they can experience the pleasures of sex. And I think sex can be like a really divine, beautiful act. And I think that when we're younger, it's almost like, I think sex is just used against us in so many different ways.
100%.
And I think
It's not
that
educated properly either.
no, no. And I think it's important to sort of say, to take ownership and be like, yeah, I was sexually abused. But I think
Yeah.
as I'm growing older, I'm just realizing just how much unhealthy sex there is out there and how unhealthy people's relationship with themselves and their sexuality is.
Mm.
Um, but
But now I can notice that, now I
yeah,
can see that from a mile off, because I've done the work and I've had my awakening, and I'm not in that victim mentality anymore. Like, I do not see myself in a victim in that situation. That was a part, yes, I was victimized, but that was a part of my awakening, and it was a part of my sexual growth and my spirituality as a person.
yeah,
So, sorry, someone's just coming through.
no, it's
Um,
fine. I think my sexuality was robbed from me in many different
mm,
ways. So
yeah.
obviously people were saying you're gay, and it made me it put me under pressure to explore my sexuality at a very young age. And with the internet, being online, I was big on like really into Tumblr at the time, and I just met this guy and I just thought to myself, like, he was a lot older than me, and so he was like, I won't go too much details about it, but basically like manipulated me online, and then we met up in real life. And yeah, it took me a while to kind of acknowledge that I had been sexually abused. But I think like after that happened, after I realized that people could do that, like men could be manipulative in that way. Obviously, in this instance, we're talking about men, but it's just like all I did really was repress it so much to like I blamed myself and I hated myself because I thought that I allowed it to happen. And then I just used to self-harm for many years. And I think it's only really recently I've actually just realized how much of a gift your sexuality is and how much it has to play in the way other people perceive you, the way like your family and your friends perceive you. And it's a lot of energy to deal with and to have within you.
Yeah, but it's just all we need is half an hour. Just
We got some tension in the we got some tension in. Right, okay, let's pick it up. I was robbed of the experience of like coming to terms with my sexuality, and then kind of being called gay before I even knew what gay meant kind of put the pressure on me to sort of explore my sexuality with guys. And then at the time I was very young on Tumblr, like obsessed, and this older guy, he basically manipulated me, met up with me, and we did have like a sexual experience which I now class as rape. And it was my instant reaction after all that was to just like repress my sexuality, like blame myself, like so much self-hatred that I used to cut myself, self-harm. And yeah, when I got to the age that he was, like sixth form age, I was like, oh my God, what he did to me was really fucked up. And I didn't realize just the levels of something like abuse can affect you to the point where you're like hating yourself. So I think learning to like love myself and learning to like love and see my sexuality as a gift as opposed to a curse, you kind of just realize like fluidity is so powerful. Like boys being like, oh, you're gay, like that's obviously because they're intimidated by me, or like they don't like how I used to speak to girls because I'd really get along with girls. So it's about like acknowledging the power that sexuality has and making it something that can improve the relationship that you have with yourself, as opposed to something that kind of goes against it and makes you feel it's just complete acceptance of yourself and your energy that you exude, which is so unique to yourself.
yeah, 100%. And people that are in a position of judgment or um confusion or just aggression towards somebody's sexuality just goes to show the kind of programming they've had with their upbringing, and also kind of parts of feminine and masculine that they are also suppressing in themselves, because it all comes down to the balance at the end of the day.
Libra balance,
The masculine
baby.
energy that's it, and the feminine energy is something we all have, and sometimes it's 100% okay to embody more of one of those energies than the other. And yeah, I can agree with you on that. I think I hold a lot of masculine energy, which is like assertive, controlled, like decision making.
Yeah,
Sometimes I have issues with being soft and gentle, and um yeah, just more feminine like in my communication with people. But then my self image, people would say something completely different.
exactly.
um so yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think like you need to be around people that are accepting of different expressions of you. Like
Mm.
one thing that I really loved that when you said about that you liked my higher voice,
Yes,
because
bring that alto out,
no,
baby.
because like that has been like one of the
Soprano.
biggest insecurities of mine growing up, because obviously when I was younger I had a high voice. And I
Mm.
think it's to do with just like your head voice, and you're the singer, so I don't know what are they
Don't make me
called.
sing right now. um
Don't make me sing, don't make me sing. Oh
Don't do
yeah.
it.
You know
Beyonce.
it's off again. What? No, it's like
Okay, sorry.
alto soprano, right?
Yeah, so you've got the bass, which is bass. This is like all the way down here. Then you've got the alto, which is generally people speaking voices. Everyone's pretty much alto. Then you have like the soprano, which is a bit more louder, a bit more
Sing it, girl.
which is like hi. But what you use is actually your head voice, which is
Yeah.
like you're switching
Well, when
between.
I'm really comfortable with someone, or I'm like, because I put on a lot of funny voices anyway, like I do slip into that like soprano voice, and it does go really high. But then I just remember growing up, everyone being like, "Oh my god, your voice is so high." So I really consciously first, I mean, my voice obviously did break, so it's not like I'm
Yes.
putting this voice on, but I think there's
Uh-huh.
such like a performative masculinity of being like, "You right, darling," like. Yeah, like you right, geezer, like especially in
You're
Essex.
right, babe.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like that
Mhm.
feminine and that masculine within you. I think if you can combine it, is super, super sexy. And it's something that I'm like learning to love more and more every day, particularly when people have their own unique stamp on it. And I think that's what really just pushes the conversation of gender and sexuality fluid, because what
Yeah.
is femininity? What is masculinity? Like, what do you have within you?
Yeah.
And it's so much
hmm
more than like, you're gay, you're straight, you're a man, you're a woman. Like, to me, it's just all a beautiful like rainbow spectrum.
Combination. Exactly. Talking about rainbow. Oh my God. We're in the time and the age of the rainbow children.
We are.
Drew, Wiley, we are here. This is the time for us to show all of the colors. And we're seeing it today. We're seeing it, we're in the element of LGBT at the moment, especially Pride just being gone. And the current
Mhm.
situation, it all ties into the spiritual war that is currently upon us, with
Completely.
sexuality and image and race. But yes.
It's interesting how everything comes down to the battles that you've faced, the trauma that you faced as an individual, the
Mhm.
trauma and expectations that have been put on you from your family, the traumas from your ancestral past, and the way that you've been conditioned ancestrally. And
Mhm.
now, even your life up to this point, you've kind of got to work with these energies in order to ascend and for you to break into that new way of being. I feel that this right now in this shift, we are in fourth density where time just doesn't exist. I don't know if listeners
Yeah.
have really just found with time really during isolation just doesn't exist in the same way that it used to. Everything is at a
Yes.
standpoint, and that is a divine intervention. That is
It's so needed to happen.
the 4D is the time where time doesn't exist, where everything's here, like nothing can hide, like everything is
Mhm.
happening all at once. And how you
100%.
deal with the energies during this time and really just heal everything that's within you will then, allow you to basically have a higher state of being and make your vibration raise higher so that you can have a better quality of life.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Relationships with family members or friends
I mean, we
or
did see earlier, babe, that relationships with your family members aren't the best.
she probably heard that. But hey ho, it's all live and we're giving you the flavor. Yes, we are.
Yeah, no,
But no, it's nothing can hide. Nothing can hide. Shadows are being coming up. They need to be acknowledged. They need to be transformed into light. So if you're having trust issues, if you're having guilt, if you feel shameful about something or a situation with your past, sexual abuse, sexuality, anything that you have never sat with comfortably within yourself needs to come to the surface and you need to transmute it. I don't know. Just don't turn to, you don't need to turn to toxic substances. That's a good one. Don't turn to toxic substances. Do not turn to drugs. Do not turn to alcohol.
release, release it.
Release in a form of meditation, release in the bravery of having these conversations, release in the form of exercising, detoxing, juicing. There's a lot of, as vessels, we need to really upgrade and love our bodies right now.
Mm.
and most importantly, love ourselves.
Oh God, yeah.
And if people are coming up from the past and ringing you up and you're not feeling it, like, just cut it off and be honest about why you're cutting it off. Just be like, the reason I don't want to talk to you is because I feel this, this, and that. I really hope you understand. Thank you for acknowledging me. Goodbye. And you can do things nicely like that.
It's not always about these big firework explosions of, I need this relationship to end, I need this to end, I need this to happen. It's almost just, I think the most important thing is setting boundaries within yourself, and just not allow, this is what I'm finding, it's like not allowing certain people to have a hold over me. And the way that you can do that is by just not allowing yourself to have a hold over it. So if you're judging other people, you're judging yourself. If you're trying to control the situation, you're not allowing yourself to flow with your highest intention and flow with what really can serve you. And I think that it's, I've faced a lot of trauma just by, as I said, as we said, you know, there's no escape. This is all on our doorstep right now. And it can feel really heavy and it can feel like a lot. But really and truthfully, I'd say instead of thinking your way through things, that's the enemy. You've just got you've got to feel your way through things. And I think coming
Feel
at
it,
things
feel it.
through like a heart-based kind of
Chakra, yeah.
feeling is,
Mm.
and it's just acceptance, you know, like my dad. Can I
Tap your
talk about my
chest.
dad right now? Like basically he found out, my dad found out that I had OnlyFans, and obviously I know.
You haven't even told me this. I'm so ready.
I have told you this.
Did you? Sorry,
Basically
hun.
he found out and he was like, this is prostitution. And we had to speak about all the self-harm that I went through, my sexual abuse, and obviously being a 14-year-old boy going through that, not really having the support of your parents. Like there was so much trauma there. And after that conversation, I mean, it was so funny. I had a face mask on. So for like an hour's conversation, I just had this like clay marks just drying on my
Yeah,
face.
doing the finger.
We had like, it was a really difficult conversation, but I know that that energy needed to be released. And I know that ancestrally, you know, from where I'm from, where like my family's from, like
Yeah.
so my dad's from Scotland, and his dad wasn't a very like good dad to him. So I know that that's been passed down the generations. And I just think, you know what, it stops now.
Yes.
And we ended it with a hug and just sort of like went our separate ways. And I just thought, you know what, my dad's got his views on how he wants to live his life, and I'm never going to live my life for anyone other than myself. You can't tell someone how to feel empowered, and me doing what I'm doing is the first time in my life that I feel empowered sexually. And
Amen.
my power's been like taken away from me in the past, and men and women have tried to abuse me, take away my power, made me feel less than. And guess what, it ain't happening no more. It's not happening no more, honey.
Well
We're
done.
saying
Yes.
no.
Amen. Amen.
But
Tap
that's,
that.
you
Yeah.
gotta release it. Like this is a thing. Like you release it, you let it out, and then the universe will heal
You
it.
cannot let family members control you. As much as you are born into this family and you're born into this household, look, it's all cool, babes. It's love, but you can't
It's
hang
love.
over me and tell me what to do when through situations of being a teenager and getting raped, you know, the support wasn't there. I'm not gonna lie. The support just wasn't there. So it's like, we understand from all angles it's a tricky situation, but as you said, the ancestral control that comes down, I see it in my mum as well, from her mum to me, and it's like a protection thing. But it doesn't need to happen, because when you overprotect something, you actually end up neglecting something,
Yeah.
because you're not truly listening to the person's needs. You're trying to do what's best for them in your eyes. And that's when it just becomes toxic, because it's like you're not being yourself and you're not doing the nurturing and love. You're not coming from a place of love.
Mhm.
when you're trying to control something. So yeah, I think that's really important. In regards to the self-harm as well, I'll share my story. You know, I was doing that for 2 years, maybe 3, and I was in a really dark place
Yeah.
with substances. But hey, I got out of it, and
I mean, you're a Pisces, babe. What can we expect?
yeah, we're all like it. We're too depth in the waters,
I
honey.
love your
Emotional.
Pisces. I'm joking, but
Glad to have my tribe. Glad to have God. Glad to have
Amen.
prayer. Glad to have manifestation and visualization to be where I am today.
Completely. And I think like God gives us these big challenges because they do want us to grow. And I think there is a level of gratitude towards all the bad things that have happened because they have allowed for growth and they have allowed you to be where you are today. And I think, you know, where we are at right now in the ascension process, it's like, what are you going to allow to move you forward? And what are you going to allow to stay within you that holds you back? And it's not a case of, you know, light and dark, get rid of all the dark, have the light. Because if you get rid of all the dark and you only have the light, then you're still going to be lost. And it's not going to be the truest reflection of yourself comes from the dark and the light. And I think where we are in time, it's just a case of
Merging the
if
two.
we're being called right now to heal, like that's we all need to heal
All
others,
healing.
but
All
how can
healing.
you heal others when you can't heal yourself? And that's
Yeah.
where obviously these energies being released with, you know, all the protests and everything that's going on, and that needed to happen, and I'm so glad that it is happening.
Me too.
But if you can't heal yourself, how can you heal other people? And I think the way time used to be, it was a case of, let me just run from one weekend to the next weekend. Let me just go stay in this job because it pays the bills and I can go to
Yeah.
Ibiza once a year. Who gives a fuck? But I
Mm-hmm.
think now it's like, you know, time
None of
isn't
that.
moving like that anymore. And I think that is the biggest thing. It's like about acknowledging what's gone on, releasing the energy that's there, like having these conversations, however difficult, with family members or people on the street, and just being your true authentic self, like embodying that
Yeah.
highest self in, and you'll be pushed and guided further in your life, like on a
Mm.
trajectory up, because
Mm-hmm.
you have a soul mission. And when you heal yourself, when you clear that through, you can realize your soul mission, and it can open up so many doors.
And opportunities for you as soon as you're aligned and you just surrender. I think surrendering is a big factor. Sorry?
It's 21:21, by the way.
Oh, yay.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, surrendering is a really necessary big factor of what humanity needs to do right now.
Amen.
Treating other people like you want to be treated is like one of the main things. Do you know what? I think we've lost like the basic commandments of like life. You know, like treat others how you want to be treated, like
Uh-huh.
be clean, be kind. Like all of these basic necessities have just been washed out of the window over time. So yeah,
It's
we've
why this
got
cleanse needs to happen. It's why we're going through so much right now as a collective, because anything not built on love with that foundation is just going to be swept away. So it can seem like chaos and it can seem hectic. Your whole life, you might be reevaluating, but just know that what's built on love will stand. And the most important thing you can do right now is just to pour as much love into yourself as possible and anchor into yourself. You will have to go through difficult conversations. You will have to maybe process emotions and get them out in the open. But ultimately, the release of those things will allow you to be lighter, and it will
yeah.
allow you to rise and ascend to a different way of existing, a different way of being. And,
Mm.
you know, I've got so much bliss within me. And that's what really just like,
It emanates, it radiates. People see that, people feel that. When love becomes the only currency for you to resonate at, it literally radiates through your image, through your energy field. And the amazing thing about like resonating on love is that it attracts other people resonating on love, and that becomes your only currency, which is the ascension where we're heading, which is 5D, you know.
Love and fear. It's so, I mean, it's so obvious that this is a game at this point, that this is I think you said, did you say to me the other
It's
day,
the
you enjoying the
pandemic,
movie?
honey.
Did you say
Yeah.
you enjoying the movie? To
Yeah,
me.
I said, oh, are you enjoying the current movie, babe? I'm sitting here with my popcorn.
It is though, and it's like,
Grab your popcorn, kids.
what are you gonna choose, fear or love? And it's so easy to see what the government want us to choose, which is fear. But I choose love, 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 love,
Me
love.
too. I miss love. What happened to love?
Let's
Feels
write a
so
song about
good.
love.
Also, I did say earlier, listeners, that it's 2121. So basically, if you do notice a synchronization of numbers, so 111, 444, 15, 15, 16, 16, whatever that number is, that's basically a message from your angels and your guides that you are in alignment. So if you do notice certain number patterns, just go onto Google and be like 2121 angel meaning, and it will give you a little like talk you through what that number actually means. And that's one thing that a tool that's really good for the ascension process is to just kind of like tune in and see what you're being told. Sometimes, I mean, I used to like always look at the meaning. Sometimes I just give it like a little nod, but I always just put my hands to my heart chakra and just go like, thank you, like, I'm grateful for this moment, thank you, because it just is the
It's
universe's
a
way of
reminder that you
saying,
are aligned with where you are, what you're doing, who you're talking to. It's like, oh,
yeah,
you've cut out of the chaos, and it's like it's bringing you back to source, which is really, really important.
it's a really important time to not limit yourself and to envision your highest reality. Don't ask
Mm,
questions like, oh, how can I afford that? Or, oh, how can I go
mm,
to New Zealand when I can't afford a plane ticket? It's about like,
mm,
what is your ideal? What is the life that you
mm,
want to be living with
mm,
abundance? But all of those things are accessed within you. So it's
mhm.
about tapping into that and tuning into that so that the changes that are coming, whatever they may be,
Yeah.
aren't going to stop me from achieving my soul mission and my purpose in life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm I'm really excited for this one because I feel like my manifestation recently has been like not all over the place, but it hasn't been getting to me as quick as I would like it to. And in reflection of this eclipse, I feel like, okay, now I meditated yesterday and I have a clear image of really what I want. So I'm excited for that to come through. But
Beautiful.
yeah, traveling, being a freelancer, living in the sun is a
Oh
must
my
for
God,
me.
honey.
My skin, I've
Get me a
realized that
coconut,
we need
baby.
that.
The Maya is like the matrix, you know, it is the
Matrix, the
illusion of
illusion.
3D. And I think
Yeah.
when you work on yourself so much, you just don't, the things that would excite you or kind of think that like you need to own a car or you need that new top or you need to go to that club, it just doesn't excite you in the
Mm.
same way. So
No,
it's
what did it
about,
all mean? It was like, it was all materialistic anyway.
exactly,
Materialism is dying as we speak. We're moving into sustainable living. We're moving into sustainable clothing, healthy
sustainable
products, food.
relationships,
Yeah, same as relationships.
making your relationship with yourself more important than it has been before, and maintaining
Ah,
friendships where you actually get something from, like not entertaining things just because of image or because of superficial reasons, you know.
yes, I love that. Like the relationship with myself is very strong at the moment. I can look dead on at the mirror and be like, you're good. I love you. I know who you are.
Oh, that's
And
so beautiful, babe, honestly.
no, loving yourself is probably the most beautiful thing that could ever happen.
The real illusion is that we need love from other people, that we need people to
Mm,
give us opportunity, people to give us things. We need to work for a company to feel fulfilled. But really and truthfully, you have access to all of
It's all
those
about
things
the
within
self.
yourself, and you can give all that love to yourself. You don't need to give it to someone else.
Mhm.
Anything that you need, you have within you, and you can just redirect and channel that back into you. And by doing that, that's when you heal other people, because you're
Yeah.
healing yourself. So if I
Yeah.
heal myself and I stop my family trauma, because I won't let it affect or go on to the future generations or the people I interact with, then that's me playing my part on this planet and doing what I should be doing.
Yeah, by healing yourself, you're literally cutting the cords for any other children or like ancestral life you're bringing in to this world. By cutting the cords and healing yourself, you are literally just starting a new chapter. And it's so important that we start to come through as individuals. Like individualism is exactly what we need right now. We need people to be unique and shine their light.
And that's why I'm so gassed. I'm so gassed for the eclipse. I'm gassed for the future, because it is going to be so bright, and those that feel free within themselves will be free. Like, it's a choice. Like, are you free or are you not free? And if you're free, you go do you, baby. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing going to hold you back, because you're not holding yourself back.
This could be the start of something new. It feels so right to be here with you.
It feels so fresh. My breath smells good. Kiss me once, baby. Na, na, na.
I was so lost, but now I'm found.
I'm found.
And guess what? It's a brand new sound.
It's a brand new tune. Yeah, yeah. Ugh, I don't know, man. I just want to send all my love to everyone that is going through a transition and just this healing right now. You are not in the dark. You are so in the light, and you've come so far. You know, the future is going to be so beautiful once we get over this divide and conquer current scenario, this situation of separation. And yeah, unity will be on the rise. Just keep making the right decisions for yourself, keep making the right decisions to where you want to be. Love yourself abundantly.
Release anything that's coming up right now. Understand that it is needing to be released for you to be lighter and for you to ascend and move higher within yourself. And sometimes I just laugh and just think, you know what, life is just fun, and we're here to have fun, and we're here to be free, and we're here to just
Love,
connect.
love.
So yeah, just anchor into the love within yourself and just allow yourself to be free, and just move from feel your way through things, don't think your way through things, and just choose love over fear.
Choose love over fear.
Choose love over fear. And honestly, Tajana, I'm so ready for me and you to take over the world. I think your energy is amazing, and it just really inspires me, and like on so many levels, you know, I just love you so much. Honestly, like, you're an amazing person, and you're just gonna go super far.
Oh, baby, I love you too. I love you too. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I feel privileged. This is just the beginning of our journey and where we will be.
Listeners, there's going to be many more episodes with Tajana, so stay tuned for that. I don't know what dimension it's going to end in, but
I'm thinking 8D, hopefully. Let's get there.
I've already seen you in the 8D
Glow
in
up,
my
glow up.
dreams. I'm so grateful for you to have joined me, Tajana.
Thank you so much.
And I really appreciate you. Love you so much.
I'm wishing you the best. Love, and light.
Love, and light.
And laughter, baby, laughter.
Love and laughter forever after.
Fluid Ascension.